Hi everybody, my name's Logan and this is my It Gets Better video. So what I decided to talk about was my coming out, and it was forced upon me. I didn't have a choice. Um, and it's not really quite bullying, but it sort of talks about the challenges faced with being outed or being discriminated against. So I thought it was a good story to share. Um, So when I was 15, I was dating a kid who was about 17 years old. He lived a couple hours north of me, and I went to stay with him for a week at his mom's house with him. And I met his family and stayed at his mom's house, and everything was fine. I mean, she really liked me. I was his good friend. And the last day, right before I was going to leave, he told me that he wanted to come out to his mom. And I told him it would probably be best if he did that after I left, in case it didn't go well. Well, I was laying in his room after I'd packed up my things on the bed, and his mom came in. She got on his computer, started looking up some things, and we're talking. And he decided to come into the room, and he laid on my chest and decided to tell his mom, who was acting like none of this was happening, that he was gay and that I was his boyfriend. Well, she got up, she went across the hall to her room, and I could hear her crying. Now, I had good rapport with her, so I followed her, and she was sitting on the left side of her bed near her nightstand, and she's crying, and I decided I'd sit down at the corner of the bed, and it took me a long time, many, many minutes, to come up with what I wanted to say as she sat there crying, and the 4 feet of distance between us felt like a universe. And I remember just saying, I didn't mean for this to happen this way. I don't want to hurt you, and I really do care about your son. And that's when she stopped crying, and she started calling me a faggot and a sinner, and told me that I had to leave her house immediately. So now I'm in a town at 15 years old where I really don't know anyone, and I'm being thrust out of this woman's home who thinks I'm Satan now. Um, so I had to call my dad and ask him to drive up, which he hadn't anticipated, to come get me, and we had an awkward 2-hour drive back home in complete silence. Well, when I got home, my boyfriend's mother called the house, spoke with my dad, and basically the gist of the conversation was, your son is Satan, he turned my beautiful son into a homosexual, and that's when I had to discuss with my parents my sexuality. I ended up telling them that I was bisexual, sort of just letting them cleave onto the idea that they might have grandchildren, that I would be normal, that I would have a wife, and I knew that that wasn't true. I've kind of known that wasn't true since I was a little kid. Um, well, basically, I've known that always. So I ended up going throughout high school saying that I was bisexual, dated a couple girls, hurt a couple girls because of it, and one of them was my best friend. And to this day, our friendship will never be the same because of it. And basically what I'm trying to say is, by running away from who you are, it's another form of bullying. And what my first boyfriend, when I was 15, mother had called me, and what she said, and her calling my parents, didn't really hurt me nearly as much as my inability to accept who I am. Because I think a big part of what bullying is what you think people think of you. Now, I was fortunate enough not to have been beat up or bullied in school and ostracized by people for being gay. I was actually very lucky to have very supporting friends and not have to face those things. But I do know what it's like to have somebody say that you're not equal or that you're less than, and it sucks. But that's not everyone. That's not the way life is, and if you're gay, be proud of it. I'm not saying you have to come out today or tomorrow or next week, but do it when you're ready. Sometimes you might not be able to control it like I wasn't. And I'm actually very happy, and I thank my first boyfriend's mother for calling my parents, because at now 23, I am a very well-adjusted, very successful, and very happy homosexual. And I just want you to know that it gets better. Well, that was my story. I hope that helps. Bye.